Hi, my name's Nicholas Kagan, and I am a 3D modeler and texture artist. I wanted to make this video to do a breakdown on my newest project, which is a reimagining of Super Mario Bros. The movie. So starting off, I am a major fan of the Mario movie. It came out in 1993, starring Bob Hoskins, John Leguizamo, and Dennis Hopper. It is a really, really good movie if you haven't seen it. It's bizarre. It's a weird movie. I think I like it as much as I'm fascinated with it, which is why I want to do this project. It's like Blade Runner meets a little bit of Terminator meets Mario Bros. It's a weird movie, and there's like a lot of crazy risks they took with this, and it's one of these things that's it's like a piece of Nintendo history that isn't talked about much. But I just love it. I always show my friends this movie who haven't seen it or like only know of it on the internet as being like a terrible movie, and it's hilarious to watch their expressions go from like confused to like almost appalled that Nintendo would let them have it. Especially there's a lot of content in this movie that I would not figure for to be in a Mario movie. I kind of came up with this idea. It developed really quickly of thinking if Nintendo really liked the movie, let's say the movie was successful, the goal was how would Nintendo adapt the movie into a game, into the style of a game. And with that concept, it was a big push and pull situation. I wanted to stay true to the video game, but then add all the detail of the movie. The big decision I made at the very beginning was I'm going to make it accurate to the video game. I'm not going to alter their forms. So if Mario is cartoony, short, and has this giant cartoonish nose, then he's going to keep it. Really, I made this as thinking that Mario Odyssey is coming out, and Mario has a lot of different suits. What if one of the DLC suits was the Mario movie? What would that look like, and how would Nintendo go about making it? So I really wanted to play it faithful to Nintendo. My main accomplishment is if somebody looks at this and thinks it's official and says like, is this a new Mario game? Then I know I've done my job right. So I'm not trying to do my own style or do the movie style. I'm trying to make it look just like the game. Then with that, I wanted to include everything from the costume to the props to the setting of the movie. So we'll have Devo guns, we'll have the bombs, we'll have the meteorite piece. I wanted to bring all that stuff in, but just Nintendo-fy it. And I think I did a really good job. I really went back and forth showing my friends. I had a lot of help from the SMB Movie Archive, which is the Super Mario Bros. Movie archive. They were really helpful giving me references, photos, all these behind-the-scenes things, especially with the fungus. The fungus was a really hard thing to make, but just to stay as accurate to the movie as possible. So to begin with, the main focus is Mario and Luigi. These two are from the very beginning I said if I did nothing else, these two characters I wanted to make. Their suits, their boots, their hats, and all that. So how I kept the form was that I had a ripped model of Mario and Luigi from Mario and Sonic at the Olympics. I got that from the models resource. Really great website. That's where I get all my video game models. If ever I need references on characters, I'll just download it to really get a really in-depth look, so I don't have to go through the video game, especially if I don't own the video game. I love that website, and I've used it for years. And so I got those two models, and why I did that and I didn't start from scratch is because I didn't want to go one hair over the degrees of the proportions of Mario and Luigi. I wanted to stay as accurate as possible, so I actually used them as a base before to model the boots on, to model the height, to model the hands. Everything came from the original models. So then I took them into ZBrush and I had a ton of references. It was really tough because I really didn't know what their movie suits were made of, and I think it's actually like denim or something. There's like rivets, there's like jean material almost in them, but it was really fun making them. The hard part was the boots. The boots from the very beginning I knew was going to be the Achilles heel of this entire project because they are insanely detailed. There is so much going on with those boots. and I really had to take a lot of artistic liberties. The first thing is that there is a ton of detail in them, and the rule for cartoons and video games, especially Nintendo video games, is keep it simple. And that's why Mario and Luigi, when you think of them, it's red and blue and green and blue. They're very simple designs. The boots were way too complex and realistic to fit in the Mario universe, so I had to simplify them over and over again. If you look at the front, they have these bars that go left and right. If you look at the movies, it's like divided into 3 sections. I ended up taking it down to just 3 bars, and I based it off the movie poster art, just to make it as simple as possible, and to keep the silhouettes, because I didn't want it to get overly complicated where people would look at it and say like, oh, it looks good, but the boots stand out because it's like very realistic and everything else is Mario. Something I added in my own little personal flair, and this is that reimagining idea, is that Mario and Luigi don't wear their iconic hats that they wore in the video games with the L and the M on them, and I wanted to bring that back because that's a big deal, that's a big icon, so I put them on the boots. So in the movie they both wear red boots, but in my version I thought as a video game it'd be very likely that they would get their own custom power-ups. So Luigi would have green boots, Mario would have red boots, and they would both have their emblems on them. So I ended up taking it off the hat and sticking it on their boots, so you got the M and the L. Sculpting the suits was maybe the funnest part of this project. It was going in and just going into ZBrush and really just carving in detail, carving in little tiny cloth fabric, making the pockets, adding the rivets. It was really cool because growing up loving this movie, their costumes are very iconic, and now I did a lot of research and understanding of where you'd put the seams and everything, and it looks great in ZBrush. I loved how it came out for its high poly, and I think it was very faithful. One thing that I was debating a lot, and I debated it up until like the final release of this project, was Luigi's mustache. Very famously, even though John Leguizamo can grow an amazing mustache, they for some reason had him clean shaven for the movie, and I think it's because they wanted to put a dynamic that he's the younger brother and Mario's the older brother. But Luigi is known only for a few things, and his mustache is like number 1. Right next to the color green. So I was going back and forth of like thinking I could take off the mustache of Luigi, and I actually played around with that, and that might work for John Leguizamo, but holy cow, the actual cartoon video game Luigi without a mustache is horrifying. I never wanted to do that again. Like, oh, that was bad. In my mind, I was like, oh yeah, John Leguizamo doesn't have a mustache, so neither will Luigi. And then I popped it off, and I was like, we're gonna put that mustache right back on there. You're gonna keep that. That's gonna be my own little personal flair, is that I keep the mustache. So that was interesting. So the next big hurdle that I came to was to design a set for the Mario Bros. Now, the way that I make sets is that I don't want them to become the forefront or like the major player. It's supposed to be something small, something background, but builds character and allows them to look really neat. I don't like my characters just floating in midair. And I don't want to just make a turntable like an amiibo. I don't want to just do that. I want to actually give them like a living in set that you think it's like I pulled a piece right out of a video game. The set went through the most changes and was one of the most frustrating parts of the whole project because I could not make up my mind on what I actually wanted. Starting off, originally I said, Dino Hatton, which is like the Koopa Square. That's a really cool. Neon lights, grunge, there's fungus everywhere, tons of people walking around. It's one of the cooler set pieces of the movie. But thinking about for 5 minutes, that was just way too much work. And again, if I did that, it would pull the attention away from Mario and Luigi, which is not what I want to do. And so I thought that was too much, and I wanted to tool it back. So my second idea, which I actually got really far in, you can see right here, is I kind of wanted to start connecting a bunch of little set pieces together to make a new one. So I was thinking about Koopa's Tower and the Devo Chamber. the set I started designing was something a little dynamic. It has elements of the Devo chamber, it's a bit of the boiler room, and I even brought in the green pipe. The green pipe does not actually, the warp pipe does not actually show up in the movie, unless if you count. There is a scene where they go kind of like this slip and slide level where they start going down this giant, I guess, pipe. It's this big scene right before the climax of the movie, but it's like iced over, and I think that was like their version of the warp pipe, I'm not sure, but I wanted to bring in the video game one. I didn't think it would be that much of a stretch. It's all I have to do is like make it look grungy, add in a bunch of fungus, and it would fit. But I really started not liking what I was seeing after a while. It started getting too big. I thought it was getting way too big, and it was drawing the focus away from Mario and Luigi. Also, another reason is that it might have been too specific to the movie, where general audiences would look at it and not get it. Only like hardcore fans would get it. So for how much work I'd have to put in to texture that whole room, I don't think the payoff would have been all that great. So I just kind of fell out of love with that one. And I was just kind of thinking of, is there anything else I could do? It was getting too out of hand, getting too big, too grotesque. I had to pull it back. My second idea, which I was actually really into, and I really thought it was going to be the one, was a side-scroller. I kind of had this idea of, what if you remade the original World 1-1 of the Mario Bros. In the style of the movie? And I started running with all sorts of ideas. Like, you could have Koopa's Tower in the background, you could remake all the items in the Mario Bros. Movie style. Then, again, like the last one, that idea just got way too big. And again, I realized, like, that's pulling the focus away. And also, with that much work I'd have to put into it, I'd rather that be a video game level, because if you have to look at it from the side, you're gonna miss 50% of the characters that I've designed. It wouldn't be built for you to look at them in a 360 degree angle. And I was like, you know what, if you're gonna do that, then it should have just been a video game. And I'm not making a video game. I'm not making a video game level. That'd be awesome, but I've never really touched Unreal. I don't know much about that side. I would love to, but that wasn't the focus. I really just wanted to make really nice renders. So I kind of just ditched that, and I was thinking for a while, until finally I just sat down and I started sketching, and you could see this. I just did this on a piece of paper. I was starting to combine elements of the Devo chamber, Dino Hatton, and like this cement, and so I just kind of, instead of making a specific piece, I made this very pulled back version that was very subtle, but had all these little references to the movie. I included the lights from the catwalk. I include the more industrial pipe feel, and then I covered it in fungus, and I put that green pipe right back there, and then I put the little red handle on it from the original Mario Bros. Cover. So I was really happy with how that turned out. I think it's not anything specific from the movie, but it's just combining a bunch of motifs that it feels like it's right off the set. It could have been in the background of the movie and we just never saw it. The Bob-omb came at the very end, and it was actually very quick to make it. I originally said I didn't want to make the Bob-omb because it looks just like the video game. Because it's ridiculous. The Bob-omb in the movie is... Even people that love the movie... I love the movie. I can't tell you what the heck the Bob-omb was about. It just shows up. It makes no sense how it's like... Everyone acted like it's a huge plot piece to the movie, but in the end it's like... a slightly larger grenade. That's really it. And everyone's freaking out about it, even though they have like Devo guns, flamethrowers, probably live ammunition somewhere, but everyone loses their mind on a grenade. It's so ridiculous, I'm just like, I gotta put it in. The next thing is the Devo gun. I love the Devo gun. It's a modified super scope. You can actually, if you have a super scope, you can modify it and actually make the version that they made in the movie, because that's what they literally did for the movie, which is kind of funny. I love those little stories in prop making. One big stumbling block that ended up happening was the fungus. After I started designing the set, I was asking my friends, like, how can I make it look like the movie? And everyone said, you have to have all that disgusting snotty fungus, and it has to be everywhere. If you watch the movie, I'm surprised I didn't think of it at the very first step, but the fungus is almost like its own character. Well, it is its own character, actually. Spoiler alert, the fungus plays a very big role. But that stuff is really, if you add it on, it's such an iconic, it's unique to the movie that it really, it has to be there. The problem is that I could not think of how I was going to make this fungus. If I modeled it, there's so many details to make it look convincing, it would be like a million polys, and I did not want to do that. This is supposed to look video game ready, so I wanted to conserve on polygons. And then I thought, oh, I'll just use a flat texture plane, and I thought I'd just use a flat texture plane, but I couldn't find any references on fungus. I think it's really unique to the movie. I looked at screen images, I looked at all this stuff, and it was really bad. In the end, I ended up using screen caps of the film and cutting out the fungus, using it as its own texture. So when you see the bomb hanging in the fungus right here, I'm actually using the screen cap from the movie of the bomb hanging from the fungus. I cut it out, masked it, and used it. I also found microscopic photos of spiderweb, and I was able to use that to create that texture. And then the underneath is just like a grunge texture. But it was challenging not to make, but to sit down and think of how I was gonna do it. I took a long time, like a whole day of experimenting with things to make it work. And then finally, I'm very happy. I think it's screen accurate. I played with it enough. I got a lot of behind-the-scenes images from the movie and was able to use that as masks. And I think it ties the whole set together, because yeah, the fungus is among us. At the very end, I added the wanted poster. That's actually from the movie. It's in the background. And then the one that got the most changed, the meteorite piece. So the meteorite piece was the very first prop I thought of that I said I have to have it in there because I love it. And if you think of the context of the movie, the meteorite piece is really acting as the power star in the video game, and it kind of makes sense because it's like a meteorite. Which a star is kind of like a meteorite. It's this hunk of, crystal, and it's magical too. So I thought, bringing it into the Mario video games, what do all these power-ups have? They have eyes. So I took the eyes off the star in the power star from the video game, and I put them on the meteorite piece. And I think it looks pretty good. It looks like the item, and I was actually really happy for the changes I made. I really, really like that one. Overall, I'm really happy with this project. I ended up have this model here, and then I remade the poster from the actual Mario Bros. Movie. I've always loved this poster. It's so epic looking, and it's minimalistic. It's very just powerful, and I was like, I gotta remake it. So I ended up getting Mario and Luigi, and I remade the pose, which might be my favorite part of the whole project is remaking this poster. I even put fake credits in the bottom. One of my favorite parts is that the actor who played Luigi, John Leguizamo, he actually liked it on Twitter. So if nothing else, I don't at this point I don't even care if nobody likes this project. The fact that John Leguizamo liked this project is completely worth it. I love it. It's a complete success in my book, and that made my day. I told all my friends. That was really, really fun. I'm very happy with how this turned out. I think it's one of the big steps I've gone into making my stuff look professional, and to it was a real step up in my texturing, trying out new stuff in Substance Painter and ZBrush, and I think I'm going to keep it on my portfolio for a very long time. Thank you for watching this video and for making it to the end. I hope you really enjoyed the behind the scenes of this project and all the work that went into it. If you've never seen the Mario Bros. Movie, go out and watch it, and this will make sense. If you have seen the Mario Bros. Movie, and that's why you're here, I hope you enjoy this. I hope you like it as much as I like it. It was a total blast making it, and it was a real big idea coming true, because I've always wondered this, of what would it look like as a video game, and I think that I really, really put my best foot forward and nailed the concept. It was really, really fun making this, especially based on one of my favorite video game series. Obviously, it's Super Mario Bros. It's like the biggest video game series. It's synonymous with the word video game. If you want to see this model in 3D and interact with it as like a video game, I have a link to my Sketchfab. It's really, really cool. It'll load up the model. It looks gorgeous, and you can use your mouse and like a video game, go through and zoom in and see all the details. It's really, really neat, and I encourage that if you want to see more. I put a lot of little Easter eggs in there, especially underneath the model. So have fun finding all those. I hit a lot of stuff. And I also have a link to my Artstation, which will have all the photos that you've seen in this video and a couple other things. That'll be posted on there, and they'll be in high definition if you want to look at anything. If you want to see more stuff that I've made, especially some new projects coming on, which I have some really big ideas for my next thing I'm really excited for. You can follow me on my Twitter. I'll provide links below, and I'll keep updated on anything I'm working on. Thank you for watching, have a great day, and remember, trust the fungus.